Thank you. Thank you. So, Klaus came to me with these pictures a few months ago and kind of threw me for a loop. I was just amazed to find these pictures. These pieces, they are the first pieces I've seen in archaeology that so descriptively seem... Everybody understand English? Yes.
Theorie.
So, you know, here in this piece, for instance, first of all, the piece look very much like the vehicle that is portrayed on it. So the
Das
piece
Objekt
itself...
selbst schaut aus wie ein UFO.
And the object is obviously arriving in the solar system. We see planets around it. The sun here, it's flaring quite strongly. And, you know, this is very, very distinct physics that we know of. This is very much a description of what we call a wormhole in physics, which is a consequence of Einstein's field equation. That was first worked out by John Wheeler. And, you know, what's really remarkable here, first of all, you know, these pieces, usually in many of the pieces that Klaus and I have been looking at for some 20 years or 25 years, you know, there's a certain amount of interpretation that has to be done, a certain amount of decoding. So basically, you know, usually there's a certain amount of interpretation that has to happen, but here there's no interpretation needed. It's pretty clear. This is obviously a spaceship that is coming out of what we call a wormhole. And what was really exciting for me is that, you know, in standard physics, when we came up with the mathematic for a wormhole, in standard physics, when the wormhole mouth is billions and billions of times smaller than an atom.
Der Ausgang des Wurmlochs ist millionenfach kleiner, smaller than
an atom.
Als ein Atom.
Yeah. And so it's conceptually impossible to travel through wormholes.
Drum sagt die Wissenschaft, ist es unmöglich, durch ein Wurmloch zu reisen.
But there is one possibility, and that is that spin at high velocity can open the mouth of a wormhole.
Ja, jetzt gehst du aber her.
Come on.
Weil
yes. But that possibility was only possible in the physics of spin in Einstein's field equation, which is something I put in to Einstein's field equation. So basically, here you can see that the wormhole is spinning, and that is opening a mouth for the spaceship to come out.
Man kann halt sehen, dass an der einen Seite das Wurmloch klein ist und sich immer weiter erweitert und dann im Endeffekt das UFO rauskommen kann.
You want to go to the next?
Ja.
So here we have an even more amazing piece. And you know, you are all some of the first ones to see these pieces.
Also noch ein beeindruckendes Bild und wir sind welche der Ersten, die das sehen?
Die Ersten.
And you can see again we have a solar system. Here is a planet with an atmosphere.
Das Sonnensystem und der Ring, den da gezeigt hat, ist ein Planet mit einer Atmosphäre.
And this planet with an atmosphere must be the Earth. We can assume it's the Earth, but it's definitely a planet with an atmosphere. There's a ship here and a ship here.
Ja, wir nehmen an, dass es die Erde ist, weil es eine Atmosphäre hat und man sieht dann halt diese Schiffe, die Richtung Erde, weil wir es annehmen gehen.
And there's a nice little blow-up of what's inside the dome of the ship.
Ja, wie so eine Explosionszeichnung, also das, was innen drin ist, zeigt dann da oben halt das Bild.
In case you're confused about what it is. And this is as well, you can see the steps here, typical of, pyramidal step pyramids.
Ja, man sieht da halt diese Streifen, das sieht aus wie eine Treppe und das erinnert eben an diese Stufenpyramiden, die man überall findet.
And here we can see that this ship is following a comet that is coming at the Earth.
Da kann man annehmen, dass das UFO im Prinzip einem Kometen folgt, der auf die Erde zusteuert.
Or at least at the planet that's here. And you can see that this UFO, right, which you can see is moving at high velocity, is doing something to push the comet. So this could be a representation of an event either in our past or in our future. And so a very interesting piece as well.
May I say here something?
Yes, yes. So if here you have, you shouldn't be recording this. No recording. Okay, so here we have other pieces. Again, we have a solar system. The sun is very clear here. We have a planet with an atmosphere. We have another planet here. And we got an ascending ship here, another one down there, and then one inside the sun flare. And as you will see in my conference, I'm going to show you the mathematics and the reason why it may be appropriate to think of the sun as a doorway to travel through our through our galaxy and even in our universe. And the ancient people always called it a doorway. So here, So here we see a UFO coming out of the sun. It's very specific.
Bei den Objekten auch ein Kristallschädel gefunden, und zwar mit einem leicht vorgehenden Kinn, der innen hohl ist.
Here we have another piece. This piece is really interesting.
Okay, ein anderes, was super interessant ist, sagt er.
Because here we have a picture of the whole piece. We can see the stairways on the side here.
Also da an der Seite, sagt er, sieht man Treppenstufen.
And if we look carefully again, we have a spaceship coming out of the sun. This must be Saturn. Then there's another planet there. And when we look carefully around the UFO, around the object, we find little windows with the... Oh.
Okay, Heinrich. 62 is also a problem with the computer sometimes.
So let's put it back.
Thank you.
Yes.
He's professional.
So here we have little windows with little guys with big eyes looking out of the little windows that are inlays inside the piece itself. Big eyes. And here we are probably seeing a representation of the field structure that the UFO or the spaceship is creating. They're giving us a clue about how to build the space drive. To open the wormhole, to spin the wormhole and open it, you must have a drive that is spinning the field. Good. Next.
Yep.
Here we have being on Earth that is pointing at the stars. He's holding one of those objects in his hands. He's pointing at either a planet or a star. It could be a planet, but we can see again the comet team, very, very prominent on all these pieces, the comet with, objects in it, and then a UFO over the head.
Ganz genau. Die linke.
And just to link that with something that makes sense maybe to you, okay, that was the last one.
Yeah.
There is an increase in solar activity at this time in the history. There's an increase in comet gazing, solar comet, and all sorts of objects entering our solar system. So, this might be pieces that are telling us about this time in history.
Also um jetzt die Signifikanz von diesen ganzen Steintafeln richtig verstehen zu können, muss man